Wimius Q2 just had an upgrade. This is the Pro model that has some major improvements over the previous version. Let's dive right in and see what's changed. Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. So Wimius just sent across their new and upgraded version of the Q2, which they are naming it the Pro model. So we're going to stack this up against the older version in this video. On the box, as you can see, it says it's an upgraded version. But as you may notice, the projector's being shipped in exactly the same box at the moment. I'm sure Wimius are probably working on a new set of boxes for this Pro model. But just for reference, the older box doesn't say that it's an upgraded version. So let's get this new machine unboxed to see if we notice any physical design changes to the machine. So we'll take a look at the accessories first. So it looks like Wimius are using the exact same power adapter as the previous version. There's the same USB power cable that's included. This comes in very handy for powering the projector with a USB power bank. And we have the exact same remote as the previous version. So if you didn't see my older review of the Q2, these are the buttons on the remote. So this is your power button, your mute, your mirrorcast, AirPlay, mouse button, obviously these are your directional keys, your OK, back, menu, home and your volume keys. And here's a side by side so you can see that it's the exact same remote. This isn't a button, this is just a sticker on the front of the remote. So let's get this out of the box and look around the device. We have the same metal stand on the bottom here that raises, lowers and rotates. On the side of the projector we have the same mini HDMI port and power button. And on the back of the projector we have the same headphone jack, USB port and power input. On the side of the machine we have your same mini focus wheel for dialing in the focus. And we have the same little lens switch that covers the projector's lens. And Wimius have now added an IR window to the front of the projector, which is a much welcome upgrade. Because on the previous Q2 the remote was a little unresponsive due to it only having one IR window, which was on the back of the device. Now here's a side by side comparison between both machines. And as you can see, the older version on the right is missing the IR window. And I've just noticed something else different. Let's peel this sticker off. On the top here we have another design change. The yellow printing seems to be a lot more prominent on the Pro. This will make the top controls far easier to see in low lighting conditions, which is another great change. Because of the lighting on top of my camera, this new printing may not be standing out that well, but it has been significantly improved. I don't see any other design changes around the projector. Most of these other improvements are going to be internally, so we will certainly check those out in this review. And for those that are wondering, can this machine be powered by a USB power bank? Then yes, it certainly can, as I'm demonstrating here. Let's power this machine up and test the fan noise with some decibel meters. So we're getting readings of 46 decibels at 2 feet from the projector and 50 decibels at 1 foot. I've brought in another decibel meter here which slightly gives a different reading, but you should get a rough idea on the noise level. But overall, this projector seems quiet for its size. I hope that little test was helpful. Let's boot this projector up and see how long it takes to get to the main user interface. Already I can tell that that was way faster than the previous version. The boot up speed has definitely been improved. And Wimius have now added a brand new user interface. It's now running on Android 11 instead of 7 like on the previous version. And adding that new IR window to the front of the machine has made a huge difference. The remote is far more responsive now thanks to that. I can now point the remote directly at my screen and the remote responds, unlike the previous version. So credit to Wimius for sorting that issue out. On this user interface we have all the categories at the top, such as home, apps, video and music. We also have your input, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi and battery life at the top of the display. If you press the menu button, which is the 3 lines on your remote, this will bring up a quick settings menu where we can access all the settings within the projector. So we have your network settings. Just come into these settings to enter your Wi-Fi password. This projector accepts the 2.4 and 5 GHz frequencies, which is good. I found the projector to have excellent Wi-Fi range, especially considering the projector's size. This is the Bluetooth section where we can come in and pair a set of Bluetooth headphones or a soundbar, etc. And check out how good the Bluetooth is on this little machine. I'm astonished of how many devices that this machine was picking up. It has excellent Bluetooth connection. I'm really pleased with that. We can also make the projector boot straight to HDMI. So if we don't want the projector to boot straight to Android, we can make it boot to the HDMI source instead, which is also nice. And finally, we now have some picture settings on the Q2 Pro, so we can fully adjust the image to our liking, which is what the previous Q2 was lacking. So that was a much needed setting, and I'm really pleased they implemented these settings on this new model. We also have some inbuilt picture presets, so we have standard, cinema, vivid and custom. In these settings there's auto vertical keystone correction and manual keystone correction. So this is where we can adjust the picture for a perfectly straight image. This feature is very handy, especially if we don't have perfectly straight walls. Just come into these settings and change them accordingly for a lovely straight image. We can also adjust the screen ratio, such as 16:9 or 4:3. And we have the ability to decrease the image size by using the zoom settings. And then we have projection settings. So if you have the projector mounted onto the ceiling, then you would need to come into these settings and change them accordingly. There's also sound settings that we can adjust, so we have standard, music, movie and news. These are all the apps that are stored on the machine. We have the same 32 GB of storage, which I think is very generous compared to some other machines, but we still only have 1 GB of RAM. But that's not a major issue, as the overall speed of the machine has been improved. In this setting we can change the time and when the screensaver kicks in. And in this setting we can lock the touch controls on the top of the machine. The Netflix app has also been improved on this new machine. All we need to do is scan the QR code on our phone, type in the code being displayed on the screen, and it signs us straight into Netflix. So it's a much better user experience than the last machine. I wish I could show you just how much better the Netflix app really is, but I can't show any video playback for copyright reasons. However, I have tested the Netflix app fully and it was far superior to the last Q2 model. I experienced no lags, no stutters, video playback was nice and smooth, and the audio had no dropouts or sync issues. So users who buy this new device will be much happier with the Pro model. So I'm just downloading Amazon Prime because later on in the video we're going to do a side-by-side speed test with the older machine. Let's load up YouTube to see how good the image quality looks and to see how smooth video playback is. I'm just going to skip the video here to see how fast the video picks back up again. And that was pretty impressive. It was nice and snappy. I didn't notice any choppiness to the video once it started playing again, or audio drops, which is nice to see. Obviously internet speed does play a factor in this too, but this is pretty good so far. Let's skip it again. Yeah, that's fantastic. That's definitely faster than the older version. I can immediately tell there's been a resolution increase in this new machine. Colours just pop a lot more, and I can certainly notice that the black levels are deeper and richer than the previous version. But we will do a side-by-side comparison later on in the video. I'm quite impressed with this YouTube video playback, especially how quick it picks the video back up again. So this app definitely has been improved with this new operating system. I'm going to open my curtains now so you can see how well this projector performs in the daytime and why it's really necessary to black out the room as dark as possible. In my living room I have blackout curtains and blackout blinds, so I'm now opening my blackout curtains. And my blackout blinds are still currently closed. So this is the image with my curtains open and my blinds shut. I'm now sliding the blinds across my window so they're in the fully open position. I have a huge window in my living room that's roughly 1 or 2 feet away from my projector screen, as you can see. So this is rather an extreme test, and most people wouldn't have their cinema screen that's so close to a window. This is the screen that I'm using. It's an 80-inch screen and it can be picked up for under £60. The reason why I'm showing you this is you really need to be using a screen with a black backing on. This is so light doesn't pass through your projector screen. You basically want as much light the projector's capable of, bouncing this light back at you as much as possible. This is to get the most performance out of your machine, especially on a budget projector. Those bedsheet type screens are just terrible. You really don't want to be pairing a budget projector with a sheet of cloth and expect a decent picture. You lose a lot of light and performance doing that, and it will only hurt your viewing experience. Yes, these sheets will do you in a pinch for outdoor movie nights, but you really don't want to be using them as your main cinema setup. This is just a little advice, because I want you to have the best image possible from your machine. I'll now quickly show you the screen mirroring function. This is how you send videos and pictures straight to the projector. On the remote, just underneath the power button, you have the mirrorcast button, and the one next to that is the AirPlay button. Just press either of these buttons depending on the device. Look for the screencast function on your mobile phone, and you should see the Q2 projector listed. Click on that and pair the device, and you should be able to send files straight to the projector. I'm using a Hawaii phone for this, as this phone had screencast features built into the device. I did try it on a Samsung phone and a Google Pixel 6, but these phones didn't seem to have screen mirroring built into them. Or at least I couldn't get it to work on those phones. So I'm assuming you need to download a screen mirroring app on your Android device for this to work. I did download a couple from the App Store, but they require payment, so I just deleted the apps again. But an Hawaii phone just works straight away. As you can see, the phone is now casting perfectly to the projector. There's no significant delay in playback. The video looks to be smooth, especially for me at least. I do have a super fast broadband, so that obviously helps too with smoothness. So let's move on to those speed tests. I'm now turning the projectors on. So the Pro model is now loaded. So the older version was way behind on them tests, at roughly 30 seconds behind. Let's load up Netflix. Yep, the Pro's all ready to go. and the older one is only just signed in. So yeah, that's a massive speed increase. The older version was at least 30 seconds behind. Now for YouTube. Pro wins again. So yeah, we've got quite a bit of difference again. Let's try Prime. So the Pro wins 3 out of 3 at the moment. And now we're signed in on the older version. So yeah, we're 30 seconds behind again. Let's load up YouTube again so we can test the screen uniformity. We'll also check some solid colours to see if we can immediately spot any differences. Screen uniformity looks pretty decent on both machines, with only slight vignetting. Colours look good on both machines, but solid colours do look a little deeper on the newer model, although on solid colours there's not a huge difference. I noticed in the projector's interface, within the settings menu, it said the resolution of the Pro was 720p, which would be a big step up from the previous version. So let's check that out now. Pixel density certainly has been improved on the Pro. The individual pixels appear slightly smaller, whilst they appear a lot larger on the previous Q2. I'll set both machines up side by side and do another test. So we've now swapped sides for this test. The upgraded version is now on the right. So this is the seam where they both join. The pixels do indeed look a lot larger on the previous model, whilst the Pro looks far better and less visible. You can immediately see the black borders around the pixels on the older Q2, whilst the newer version has less border and the pixels blend into each other more neatly. The resolution on the Pro just looks a lot nicer than the previous version. So I'm really happy to see that on this new machine. The one thing I've been super impressed with on both models of the Q2 is the excellent dust resistance. As you can see, there's quite a lot of dust particles getting sucked into the machine right now, yet this doesn't seem to affect image quality in any way. Usually on an LCD projector, dust would land on the LCD, and as light is passing through the LCD, this dust would eventually show up as black spots on the image. This Q2 doesn't have them problems. In general, DLP projectors are far superior when it comes to dust resistance, and I must say, this Q2 has been excellent. I'm now bringing up a pure white screen on YouTube so you can see all that dust that got sucked into the projector hasn't caused any black spots. I'm now going to perform some battery life tests. I've fully charged the battery and the projector's running off its internal battery with the high brightness setting switched on. So I'm going to run the projector to see how long the battery lasts. As you can see, we have a full battery. During these battery life tests, I did change the time zone in the settings, so you might see two different times, but I just literally got the battery warning sign. And as you can see, there is a different time, but you'll see my stopwatch is still going. But as you can see, I have a low battery. Now I'm going over to the stopwatch, and as you can see, it's 1 hour and 4 minutes on high brightness until we got that battery warning sign. I'm going to run this projector now until it completely shuts down so you can see how long it lasted. So my camera shut down whilst filming, so I missed the projector shutting down, but I got out my phone and took the time so you can see how long it lasted. So the projector went on for another 30 minutes until the projector completely shut down. I'll now perform the same test on low brightness. I'm now switching off the high brightness toggle. As you can see, we have a full battery. So when the battery warning sign popped up, I checked my timer and it was 1 hour and 45 minutes. And I'm now running the projector until it completely shuts down again. I'm only running the projector right down so I can show you the battery life results. I wouldn't advise you to do this on a regular occasion, as it is bad for the lithium battery to run it completely down to zero. This will degrade the life of the cells and you will get less time than usual, so try not to let the battery fall below 20%. A portable power bank comes in super handy for this machine. On low brightness we got 2 hours and 9 minutes until the machine fully shut down. So we're now moving on to some resolution tests. On the upgraded version, I can immediately see a difference in image quality. The black levels are significantly deeper and the reds are more punchier and vibrant. So I'll let this video play out so you can all be the judge of what picture looks best. I notice a big difference in picture detail due to that new resolution. The picture clarity just looks far superior now compared to the older version. So I hope you all liked those image quality tests and that they were helpful. So I'm now going to fire up the Xbox and show you some gameplay while telling you the pros and cons of this new device. So I usually would start with the pros first, but I'm going to start with the cons, and there's not that many. When gaming, I noticed input lag was slightly higher compared to the previous version, especially when playing FPS type games. Now, I'm unsure why that was, as this projector was a lot faster machine across the board, yet it seemed to be slower when gaming. Maybe the delayed response was just something to do with my particular setup at the time, but I thought I would mention this. But Wimius could probably solve this issue in a future update. Also, sharpness on my particular model wasn't as good as the previous Q2. I couldn't get a perfectly sharp image across the board, mine was a little bit blurry on the edges. Now sharpness will vary no matter what machine you buy, so it won't be a particular fault on the Pro model. It's just luck of the draw when it comes to sharpness no matter what projector you buy. And now for all the pros of this new device. The resolution has been increased so images appear less pixelated to the previous version. The Pro is much faster at boot up speeds and loading apps. We now have a more responsive control due to that new IR window on the Pro. The top touch controls have visually been improved. We now have Android 11 instead of 7, so now we have much better app compatibility. We now have picture settings on the Pro, so now we can fully adjust the image to our liking. Having the ability to run this projector off a portable power bank is amazing, because we can use this machine anywhere in the world without power constraints. Build quality on this machine feels super premium, being all constructed of aluminum. This machine is one of the best pocket projectors on the market, especially for portability and convenience. So overall, Wimius have certainly impressed me with this new machine. It's a massive improvement over the previous Q2. And that just goes to show that Wimius have listened to some of the negative reviews from the previous Q2 and implemented those improvements on this new model. So I have to give them massive credit for that. So that brings me to the end of my review. If you enjoyed this video and you found it helpful and informative, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. That helps all the YouTube community when they are searching for the newer version of the Q2. If you have any questions about the Q2 Pro that I didn't cover, feel free to leave your comment down below and I will do my best to get back to you. Catch you all in another video soon. Thank you very much for watching.